Welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. It's September, first show of the new month, and I think summer's pretty much over. In my mind, it's over. Officially, it's not, but summer's over. Todd's here. He got the plain white shirt today. At least he has a shirt on.
I was fully covered last week, though.
2 weeks in a row. Pedro's back from his vacation. We don't know what he's doing, but he seems rejuvenated from his week-long vacation, and we got a lot to get to in this episode. So much to get to. Don't know if we'll get through all of it, but we're going to try. And we're going to start off with Ezekiel Elliott. Took them long enough, but they finally gave him the contract that they could have had the deal done back in the summer. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jerry was just trying to make good TV, just because nothing was really going on with the Cowboys. The guys they were signing really weren't people that people want to really interview. Because were they interviewed? No. So that being said, I just think Jerry Jones just being Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So Zeke, he's going to be in Dallas for the next eight years because he did have 2 years remaining on his rookie contract. With this 6-year contract, he'll be in Dallas till about the 2024 season or so, or until they get tired of him and say he's washed up or something like that, because that's usually what happens with running backs. But this deal is he's the highest paid running back as of now. As of now, he's the highest paid. Saquon will probably be the next one up, or Kareem Hunt or somebody. Somebody's going to be next, but 6 years, $90 million, $50 million guaranteed, and I guess he won this stalemate with Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry forgot, man. He's getting old. His poker face isn't as good as it used to be. Doesn't hold up as well.
I'm telling you, it's that
and
he's that Botox, man.
And end of the day, Zeke knows what type of talent he is, especially with that organization. So he knew it was only a matter of time before he got his money.
Yeah, and because Dallas was paying everybody except their top two guys. Because they signed Lyle Collins earlier in the week, but with this deal, I mean, it was only right because everybody knew if they didn't have Zeke, there's no Super Bowl, or no thoughts of a Super Bowl without Zeke. So this little back and forth they were doing, I don't know why he made it. Everybody knew he was going to get signed. Everybody knew it was just a matter of time. And the drama of the NFL, they waited this to the very last minute. It was good for Zeke because he didn't have to go to camp.
True.
The benefit of it.
True, but hopefully his body stands up, or holds up, I say, for the full season. Because you know how injuries just happen to pop up on players who don't come to camp for some odd reason.
Yeah. So with this, here's some contracts. So Zeke is the highest paid running back, followed by Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, and David Johnson. David Johnson, he gets about 31 guaranteed. Le'Veon Bell's about 35 million guaranteed, total guaranteed. And Todd Gurley is about 45 total guaranteed. I still think Todd Gurley is the best running back in football. I mean, there's a lot to choose from, but for me, I think Todd Gurley is the best running back in football. Then you could go with Zeke and then Saquon and Le'Veon Bell. So there's a lot of guys, but Melvin Gordon, I know he's like looking at this like, bro.
Yeah, but to piggyback off your, Todd Gurley being the best running back, yeah, Todd and the best always works for me. Always works for me. But yeah, Melvin Gordon. I came across something on the internet they were saying about some trade rumors or something like that.
Yeah, they don't want to give him top running back money, but they want a first-round pick for him.
But doesn't he have like old 80-year-old knees?
Who? Melvin Gordon?
Yeah.
That probably. I know he has some injuries.
I thought he had the arthritis.
No, that was Todd Gurley.
Oh, my bad. Hey, my bad, Todd. We don't wish knee problems on anybody. Forget I said that.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon had a little injuries I think his first year. But yeah, I know he's looking at this like, man. And I don't get the Chargers or deal. You want first-round pick for him, but you don't want to give him top dollars. Okay.
I get it, but I know everybody wants to get paid when everybody else gets paid, but play this year and I guarantee you'll get your money in the off season.
Yeah, and other Dallas Cowboys news, they did well now that they signed Zeke. They also signed one of their linemen, one of their best linemen, Lyle Collins, to an extension. So they've shored up their offensive line. I think they have their entire offensive line locked up for the next couple years. So this was a good deal for the Cowboys. Lyle Collins, 5-year extension, $50 million, $35 guaranteed. So you got the offensive line locked down. You have your running back locked down. All you need to do is lock down your quarterback because he's next up.
How much money is left? Because
and Amari Cooper.
Yeah, remember what I said last week about them paying everybody else and then giving Zeke everything. What I say, like $100 million or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, they gave him 90. So I don't know how much money's left in the bank for those two.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But the thing about Lyle Collins with him, this guy was supposed to be a number one, top draft pick when he came out. But the craziest thing, a story happened about a murder that involved a person he used to date, and they put his name in it, and that just messed up his whole draft. He had nothing to do with it, just because his name was brought in it because the person, I think it was a female, he used to know her or whatever, or date her.
Was he accused by like individuals?
He wasn't even accused. His name was just brought up in it.
No, what I meant to say was his name brought up by like people who knew the lady. Or like the detectives and stuff bring his name up.
I think it was the detectives. I think it was the law enforcement that brought his name up. Yeah, they did that, and that ruined his draft process because I think it was bad. It was pretty bad.
You know how it goes. Like, that's just bad luck right there. Like this, you never wish death upon anybody. You don't expect somebody that you might end a relation with to get murdered. And then because you're a high pro athlete, you get targeted or get a finger not a finger, but you get looked at.
Yeah,
you get an eye looked at.
It was crazy. All right, other NFL news. There was a lot of NFL moves being made. The Houston Texans, they have no clue what they are doing. Houston Texans, they got their coach. They don't even have a GM. They don't have a GM. And the season's starting Sunday or tomorrow, but they don't have a GM. So they traded away Jadeveon Clowney. They didn't want to give him a contract, so they traded him to Seattle, which is a great pickup for Seattle. And,
it was.
And in return, they got a few draft picks. But good for Seattle for picking him up because they already got a nice little defensive front. But one of the reasons they traded him because the coach didn't like him.
That's the only reason?
That's one of the reasons. But him and the coach never liked them. They had issues. But you don't trade away talent because you have issues with him. Like, this is why I'm not a big Bill O'Brien fan.
Yeah, like you see my face. It's like, man, who cares if you don't like him? Like, is he playing for you? You know what I mean? Is he making plays for you? Is he being a professional? If he's doing all the above, then who cares how you feel about him and how he feels about you? Yeah. As long as you're only disrespecting each other, there should be no problems. But congratulations to the Seahawks. They're trying to bring that Legion of Boom back.
Yeah, because their front seven is tough. Their front seven is tough because they got Ezekiel Ansah. He's a pretty good defensive end. They've got L.J. Collier, a nice young defensive end. They've got a few guys in there that'll definitely make some big plays for them. And the Texans, I don't know where they go from here.
They're going to continue to be the Texans. Like I always say, everybody has high hopes for them until they remind you who they are.
Yeah, it was crazy because Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt, they seem to work well with each other. Now, if J.J. Watt's get the double team, you got Jadeveon Clowney, he could get to the quarterback or make the quarterback do errant things. So you got two solid defensive ends, and this is the thing I don't get about NFL teams. This is why the Patriots they're always there at the end because they don't trade away their talent.
True, and they treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
That too. Like nobody's really. I mean, there are different levels of the totem pole, but the way Bill is, he treats everybody the same.
Yeah, and I've only seen Belichick one time get rid of a player because he didn't like him, and that was Terry Glenn way back when. But most of the time, suck it up, go to work, get the job done. That's usually how it goes. So that was sad. But in some more bizarre news, the Dolphins traded away Kenny Stills, which I saw that coming because he was becoming a little. They didn't want to deal with him, and they traded away their best offensive tackle. So, yeah, whoever's playing quarterback is gonna have a nice long year for them. Josh Rosen's not starting, Fitzmagic is starting, but it's gonna be a long season for them.
Yeah, because what's it, Tunsil?
Yeah.
Tunsil was the only piece they had to save the QB, and you could at least build around him. Now, who you gonna start with?
Exactly, and it's like, where do you go from here? Tunsil look like he's straight from the block too.
Yeah, he do. Yeah, I see why he protected the QB.
Yeah.
He come with us Saturday night.
For real. All right, I need a bodyguard. But yeah, this is interesting. They need the Texans needed to get Tunsil because their quarterback. There's another issue. They had issues protecting Deshaun Watson his first couple of years. You know, he had last year he came off the knee injury. The year before he was having a good season, but then tore his ACL. And then last year, you know, they said there was a report I heard on a podcast that there were some games he had to drive because he couldn't get on the plane because of the ribs, his injury to the ribs, like the air pressure would not help. So he literally had to drive to take a bus to some games.
Jeez.
Yeah, so if the Texans don't figure out this was good, now they need to shore up that entire offensive line. You got a good one now. Now you need to shore that up, but I don't know how they're gonna pay him. If they're gonna pay him.
Yeah, man, I don't know what the Texans is gonna do.
I don't know what, because right now they made moves that they should win now. It's win now or not, and I've said it a million times. You're not going to win with Jim O'Brien as your head coach at all.
From the moves he's making in the offseason, you get one of your best defensive players for no real apparent reason.
Yeah,
it's just going downhill from there. And then you get rid of all these draft picks that's supposed to be able to build.
Yeah.
And where you really don't have any solid building blocks. You have some blocks that you know what I mean you could use, but no solid ones.
Yeah, it looks like in the short term it's going to work out for in the short term you think it's going to work out for the Texans because they got a offensive line, and Kenny Stills is not a bad wide receiver. He's pretty decent because he had Ryan Tannehill throwing him the ball last year. He's proven when you have when you have a good quarterback, he'll be productive, but when you have Ryan Tannehill, it's not good. But in the short term, this might be good for the Texans. In the long run, this will be good for the Dolphins because they do have 2 first-round picks and another second-round pick. Yep. So they could rebuild the team, especially with the new head coach. The Dolphins, they're going to suck this year. And we all know they're going to be terrible. They'll probably win 5 games, if that. But the Texans, they need to win now. They've had so much talent. They actually need to make that run.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Yeah, we'll see. More contract. People just getting paid all over the place. The Rams gave Jared Goff a nice big old extension. He got a new 4-year contract, 4-year extension. He's now there. So the contract is 6 years, $138 million with $110 million guaranteed, which is he's now the highest paid quarterback. And good for him. Get your money because getting to the Super Bowl is always cause for a raise.
Yeah, and when you win 2 division titles, 1 NFC championship, and you're 2-time Pro Bowler in your first 2 years, you kind of deserve that money. And he's kind of like the best quarterback since what? Warner so far?
For the Rams?
Yeah.
Since, what was it?
Yeah, I'm saying Kurt.
Kurt, yeah.
Yeah, probably Kurt. Granted, Kurt's 2-time, you know what I mean, Super Bowl champ. So, right? 2-time, right? 1?
Yeah.
He been to the Super Bowl twice, 3 times.
3 times.
All right.
Lost to the Patriots, lost to the Steelers.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You are correct, my friend.
And he's coming off a 4,000-yard season too, with 32 touchdowns. There's a lot of room. He's only 24 years old too, so there's a lot of room for growth for him. There's a lot of improvements in his game. We saw in the Super Bowl there was plays that were to be made. He didn't make them. Some on him, some on the receiver. But there's room for growth, and I think that this was a good deal. If Pedro could bring up this photo I have about contracts from that 2016 NFL draft, if you look at these guys, these are 3 best quarterbacks in that draft. You got the top 2 picks, and then you have the 3rd overall pick. Now, now we're just going to wait and see about Dak Prescott's contract because this is his last year, so he's going to be a free agent. But, this is shaping up, this draft class is shaping up to be a pretty good draft class. And if you look at that entire draft, that 2016 draft, there's some players in there. Some players that in that draft that got paid. I know Tyreek Hill got paid, or is gonna get paid, and he was picked like in the 5th round or so like that. Jalen Ramsey, another one, he's due to get paid. But with these quarterback contracts, it's Dak is gonna have a little leverage in negotiation when it comes to this. He could make a claim that he should be paid higher than both of these guys, but granted, he's lost to Carson Wentz in the playoffs. I mean, not Carson Wentz, Jared Goff in the playoffs, but, he's played more playoff games than Carson Wentz.
True. No, I'll definitely say he could have an argument about deserve more money than Carson Wentz. Yeah. Jared Goff, nah, bro, you gotta sit behind him for a little bit.
Yeah, but he can make some claims. He has a very, very strong claim when negotiation comes for his contract.
Oh no, he definitely does. He's just not, he's in between those two.
Yeah. So kudos to that guy getting his money. All right, another quarterback that got his money, Jacoby Brissett. He got a nice 2-year, $30 million deal. I think this is one of those deals that's, let's see what we got for you. Let's see what we could get out of him and see if he's going to be that franchise quarterback for him. Because it's kind of like, prove it.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. But when I actually read it, I kind of felt like, like they gave him this money to make him feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because, when you're under that pressure, being a backup, you definitely don't do well at all.
Yeah.
And it's just proven in the NFL.
Yeah.
So when you give a guy money, you give a player the money, you make him feel like he's wanted, make him feel like he's really part of the organization now, like he's your guy, and he'll go out there and play for you.
And they need a security. They definitely need a security for the quarterback position because, they signed Brian Hoyer, but, as a backup, Brian Hoyer, he is what he is. He's just I'll be a backup too, making $9 million a year. But Jacoby Brissett, I think because I said before, he's a decent quarterback, and there's weapons for him. For them to be successful, and their division isn't that strong. So, if he can ball out this year and next year, we could see him getting a nice big contract if he plays to the potential, because there's a lot of GMs and coaches that are pretty high on him. They think he could be a good quarterback in this league, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, and in the NFL, man, there's a lot of pressure being the starting QB. Your window, opportunity is slim, and you can't have that many mistakes.
Nope.
So with that being said, man, hopefully the coach could be a little patient with him, a little more patient than he will be with other players, just because he understands it. They gave him the money, so just see what you get out of him.
And he doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't force the ball. He doesn't turn the ball over like that. Throw dumb interceptions. So he's pretty smart with the football. So I think this is probably paying out for the Colts, and they have a coach who knows how to coach quarterbacks. So their head coach, they got a good foundation for him to succeed. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. That's really it, man.
All right. Miles Jack of Jacksonville Jaguars. He is now the 3rd highest paid inside linebacker in the NFL. He signed a 4-year extension worth $57 million, including $33 million guaranteed, and he's gonna make about $14 million annually. So Bobby Wagner and C.J. Mosley are the only 2 other running backs that have a bigger contract than his. But hey, man, Jacksonville, we know about Jacksonville, they have good defense. The problem is their offense, but they need to lock down their safety too. They need to lock down Jalen Ramsey as well. But it's a good thing they got this linebacker locked down, because he's a pretty solid linebacker, because he can actually cover slot receivers. And that's rare.
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, this happened last week. I forgot about it.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this. So kudos to him, man, getting his money. And, the Jaguars trying to keep a piece to try to make something out of this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how productive they'll be as a team this year, but
offensively, people are saying we got to watch out for them because of the Nick Foles factor. We'll see this. The only 2 weapons on offense that they have, threats on offense that they have, is Leonard Fournette and that's it, Leonard Fournette.
Bro, you know we don't think about the Jaguars, bro.
Yeah, his first name. Also with Miles Jack, each year his production has increased. So, last year he had a career high 107 tackles. He had 2.5 sacks and he had interception. So, good. Kudos to him for getting that contract. I'm always happy when these NFL players get their money because these guys, they be trying to play them. And lastly, the Chiefs added LaShawn McCoy to their arsenal to a 1-year deal. I think this was a good pickup for them. Just another guy that can run and catch the ball to help Patrick Mahomes out. And, last year he wasn't too bad. He had a pretty decent season last year.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. 14 games, 514 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think playing with Mahomes, he'll get way more touches.
Yeah, and they won't use him as much, but the way they'll use him, I think it'll be very effective because he can line up at the slot receiver, and linebacker still can't cover him. So this is just adding to Kansas City's repertoire of weapons. And woo-wee.
They got a lot of them.
They got a lot of weapons. All they have to do is stay on sides on defense, and maybe they'll get to the Super Bowl.
Here you go.
Yeah, that's still the craziest thing. They literally wouldn't be in the Super Bowl. All he had to do was move his hand just like this. That's all he had to do. Just have his hand back.
This is true.
They're in the Super Bowl. But hey, discipline. All right. Fantasy No Huddle with Craig. Then we're gonna run through preview a couple games, and then do some more stuff. Craig with his Fantasy No Huddle, and we'll be back.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy Craig, and you might recognize me from my shows, The Flex, Tail of the Tape, or The End Zone. And this week, I have my DraftKings picks of the week for you, and I know you've missed them, so we're gonna jump right into it. And I'm going to give you, I did a couple lineups, and I'm going to give you the one I think is the best. Starting off at the QB position, I like Carson Wentz. I think he has a favorable matchup this week. I believe they're going up against Miami, and I don't believe in that defense. They just got rid of Kiko Alonso, so what are they going to do there? And then I followed up with running backs. I went big on running backs, but I took a chance. I rolled the dice, and I grabbed Le'Veon Bell going up against the Buffalo Bills. I think that Le'Veon Bell has lots to prove, and I think he's ready to prove it. I think he's ready to shove it down everybody's throat that he could take off a year, get paid, and then run over everybody. And then I took another gamble on a guy we don't know because he's going up against Le'Veon Bell, and that's Singletary. I think it's going to be the battle of the run game in this game, in this particular matchup in Week 1. I'm loving it. Singletary has a ton to prove as a rookie. He gets the starting job after LaShawn McCoy gets released. I think he's going to come out and show out Week 1. They want to get that pass game going, and they're going to do it by getting Singletary's legs rolling. And call this a gambling week if you want, but I'm rolling the dice over and over again. And I went with Albert Wilson from Miami. I paid a lot of money for some players, so I had to pick some players that were a little cheaper. And Albert Wilson was just looking so great to me because if you remember before he got injured, he's like Tyreek 2.0, Tyreek Hill all over again. He's fast, he's nasty, and he got hands. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this kid does. And I think Week 1, no one's going to see him coming. And I think he's going to break the lid off of it. And then after that, my boy Amari Cooper, they say he's ready for Week 1. The boy got wheels, the boy got hands, and he's a big body wide receiver. Dak Prescott can't wait to throw him the ball. Ezekiel Elliott is most likely will be back. They're reporting that he's about to sign the contract, so that's looking good. And I think Amari Cooper knocks the lid off of it. And then for my third wide receiver, I went with Mike Williams. Once again, I like the matchup, but I think because Keelan Cole is going to get the double coverage, I think Mike Williams tears the roof off, and I think he gets 2 scores in this game. And I think he's going to be one of the top 20 wide receivers this week. And that's just me saying that because I want it to happen and not necessarily because I believe it. Okay, so then for my tight end position, once again, I spent a lot of money and I went with my favorite tight end next to my favorite tight end who retired, Gronk. I went with the new Gronk, and that's George Kittle, the best tight end in the NFL. I believe it wholeheartedly. Kelsey who? Ertz who? It's about George Kittle, baby. And with Jimmy Garoppolo coming back, he has something to prove. Not only was he out for a season, but he did not have a great preseason. And I think the preseason he got the cobwebs knocked off. I think he swiped away all that dust, and he's ready to go. And Kittle is going to be the prize winner. Into the flex position, I threw Stephon Diggs. You know, I like Adam Thielen. I think Adam Thielen is the best wide receiver on that team. I think Adam Thielen might even be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, but he costs a little bit too much. So I went with your boy Stephon Diggs, who is dynamic. He's a speedster, and he knows how to run his routes and get open. So I thought if I threw him in the flex position, that would give me some bonus points. And then finally, when it comes down to that defense, baby, I had to go with the Eagles. They're going up against Miami. Now, that is a risk in itself because the last time Ryan Fitzpatrick got the ball week 1, he put up 40 points, and it was a slaughter, and they beat the Saints for the only loss they had almost the whole season until they faced the Cowboys in like week 15. So it is a little bit of a risk, but I don't think they have enough weapons to get the job done. I think the Eagles get the most points for a defense this week. So those are my DraftKings picks of the week: Carson Wentz, Le'Veon Bell, Singletary, Wilson, Cooper Williams, Kittle, Diggs, and the Eagles defense. I hope you checked out my list. I hope you try out my list on DraftKings, and I hope you win some money. And if you do, throw your boy a little taste if you can. But with that being said, this is No Huddle on After the Whistle, and I'll see you next week. Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Craig, for that fantasy up there. You got to add a pause to that. Throw your boy a little taste. Come on, Craig. I had my fantasy draft this week, and obviously I took Ezekiel Elliott number 1, which I needed that. All right, let's preview some games. The Patriots season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If history tells you the Patriots always dominate the Steelers, they always beat them. I believe last season was the first time the Steelers beat them in a while. I think the last time the Steelers beat them was 2008. I want to say either 2008 or 2009, but the Patriots versus Steelers. Last year's game was pretty close. It went 17. It was 17-10 Pittsburgh won the game. Brady had a dumb interception he threw in that game. Wanted to throw off his back foot. They were in the red zone, and it was just one of those Brady brain fart moments. There you see it right there. That pretty much cost them the game. They had another chance, but Pittsburgh just made the plays. But this time it's in Foxborough, so I'm eager to see how this Patriots offense is going to look.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. They have to work some kinks out, but Brady's controlling the offense. They'll be all right.
Yes, Steelers offense too. I want to see how that looks too. Now that Antonio Brown is gone, so we'll see how effective the passing game will be. I mean, Juju. I think Juju's a little upgrade from Antonio at this point in their careers, just because he's younger, bigger, But we'll see how the Steelers offense looks, and also Brady. Brady always torches the Steelers. He completes over 70% of his passes against the Steelers and throws about over 300 yards per game. So he knows how to beat the Steelers defense.
That's what I'm saying, man. Brady's leading them, and he's going to put the plays in the right place to be.
All right.
Or put the ball in the right place to be.
Yeah, so Sunday, it's going to be the primetime game. It'll be the last game of the day on Sunday on NBC Boston. I believe that's the channel. And, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Clearly, we both have the Patriots winning, so you can mark that down. Packers versus Bears. This is tomorrow night. This will be the first game of the season. This is to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the NFL with the game's oldest rivalries, the Bears and the Packers. Last year, they split their meetings 1-1. Each team won at home. Although the Packers, they won Game 1, they had to come back on that. That was like the Khalil Mack game when he was just terrorizing everything. But the Packers found a way to win that game. And then they went to Chicago, and the Bears found a way to win that game. They torched the Packers defense. But, these games are always usually tight rivalry games.
Yeah.
The Bears got a lot coming back on defense.
Yeah, definitely. But, I'm more concerned about Aaron and how he's going to perform based off the season he had last year. So
yeah, there's a lot riding on him. New coach, new offense. So yeah, it's eager to see. But the Bears, they still have they led the league in turnovers last year, and they got a lot of those guys in the secondary back. You got Khalil Mack as well, and you got Akeem Hicks. So it's gonna be a nice matchup with those guys. And the Bears always have a tough defense out there.
definitely. I'm just wondering if they can duplicate the same success they had last year, because I felt like Khalil Mack was running on, the high being traded.
Yeah.
And had a lot of animosity.
Yeah.
And was out there destroying people. Hopefully he has that same fire this season.
This year he actually has an off season to actually work with the defense, so now he can fully grasp everything. So we'll see. Who do you got in this game?
Green Bay.
You got Green Bay. I'm going to Chicago just because I like Chicago. I like that city. And if you ever been to Chicago, you'll know why. In the summertime, though. Don't go in the winter. Nope. Not in the winter.
Not at all.
All right, and then we also have the Chiefs versus the Jaguars. Now, last year when they played, it was a one-sided game. The Jaguars, as good as their defense were, they couldn't control. They just couldn't stop the Chiefs, and once again, their offense couldn't produce anything, so their defense had to be out there a lot. Patrick Mahomes did whatever he wanted. The Chiefs' offense did whatever they want. So. Maybe this might be different because, game one I always think is kind of almost an extension of the preseason. So if there was a time to beat a team, it'll be in the first game of the season or like around the first month, because a lot of teams are still rusty, still trying to figure things out. So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same result as last season. Mahomes is going to put like 5 touchdowns on these fools.
Yeah, Mahomes, man, this dude, I think he might throw another 50 touchdowns this year because the way he's been balling, man. He looks more in tune with the offense. Like, when a guy just knows the offense really well, so it's like, whatever you do, I have something for you, or I have something else for you. It seems like it's gonna be one of those.
Yeah, he plays like he sleeps in like the basement of the stadium or something, like Rudy or something.
Someone said he looked like Sideshow Bob.
He looked like a combination of things, but hey, keep slanging them touchdowns.
Sideshow Bob and Marge's child.
I can see that.
All right, Athletes Corner. We go to Athletes Corner. We spoke with Lynn English football coach Chris Carroll at Manning Field. We're going to go that. We're going to do some college football wrap-up and then, wrap up the show. All right, Athletes Corner on location, Manning Field. Chris, another year, man.
Another year.
You guys quite the turnover, lost a lot of key players, a lot of all-conference players now, reel them in, re-up, and it's almost time to go in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely lost some good players, but we got a lot of guys hungry, a lot of guys competing. Great summer, great winter, and they're ready to go. Really, a very smaller senior class this year. Really heavy with the juniors and the juniors, sophomores, and a great freshman class. We're really excited with the group we have. Really excited.
One question I got to be asked is quarterback situation. You lost Matt. He's off to college now. You got Matthias playing, and he got him switching with another player. So what is going to be key for your quarterbacks this season?
Keep getting better every day. Matthias has had such good growth during camp. He hasn't played QB for a couple years. I was our starting slot receiver as a freshman and sophomore, but he's such a tremendous athlete, makes plays happen. I'm really excited to see what he does at quarterback. I mean, he's literally gotten better every single day from the quarterback skill standpoint, but he's such a good athlete. He's going to make things happen back there. And also, Jesse Maggs has been, he's a sophomore with us now, another really talented kid, big arm. We feel really good about our quarterback situation.
Now, you guys, back-to-back years, you guys made the playoffs. Year before, almost there in the championship game. Last year, you guys lost to Denver. It's a tough team in the conference. They had a great team last season. So, now you're looking forward. It's always a turnover. So what's it going to be like conference play for some of these guys that that were on the bench last year, but now they're going to get their roles is going to be increased.
Yeah, so there'd be some guys that have to step up. That's just natural in high school football. Fortunately for us, we have a lot of guys who have a year or two experience because we didn't have a huge senior class last year, although players in that senior class were very good players. But the NEC is always tough. The conference has changed. The landscape's changed again. We're playing a lot of the same teams, a couple different ones. But, every game's a battle. Right now we're trying to get better in camp every day. We're trying to get out of camp. And then when we get out of camp, we got game one, and we know who we're playing game one. So day by day, and then just we'll take it like that.
What is the practice routine like around this time of the year? Because all the schools, they get allocated time here at Manning Field.
Yeah, Manning's tough. I always give credit to Rich Avery. I have to, because everybody wants to use this field, and there's a lot of schools, there's a lot of sports, and it's not. I'm sure it's not easy for him. So what is it like when you get a day? Make the best of it. That's the way I look at it. And Rich does a great job spreading it around. But for us, when we're on this field, I love this complex. We make the most of it. And for camp, for us, it's all about high energy and competing.
Now you guys got some players that are on the state watch. You got Sam is on there. You got Matthias on there, and you got Taj on there. Some key offensive players. But who are some other players that us as fans should be expecting to have a breakout season or just have a big impact season?
Yeah, so a couple guys on the line. The line doesn't usually get so much credit, but Ryan DeWan, big 300-pound lineman. He's going to be a 2-year starter. Another guy to look out for. Tommy Gaylord. He's a captain for us, starting tackle and D, another guy. And then there's a whole host of skill guys that had great summers for us. And the linebacking core, we started 3 sophomores at linebacker last year, and then Phoenix, Anthony Timmons, and Jeffrey Gordillis, they're all back. And of course, you mentioned, Matthias and Sam and Taj, but it's a whole team effort. There's a lot of guys. I could go through 1 through 22 and give you a list of guys and something they're doing well. And most of all, they're together, they're competing, and got high energy. That's what we look for during camp right now.
Yeah, and it's starting to get there as the season's slowly creeping up on you guys. I know these guys are excited, but for the coaches, you guys emphasize on them getting better every day. As each day goes on, you get closer and closer to the season. What's the coach's role? What's their mindset going into as the season comes?
We always say family when we break, so it's that family culture, one of the things, family atmosphere. But what they're thinking is do their jobs. Right now they're competing with each other. They're competing with each other for a spot right now, and there's no spots given. Everything's earned. So while they're teammates and they have that family atmosphere and that culture, they're competing for a spot, and the competition makes everybody better. And the way we think about it is if you keep competing versus guys here, you should be okay on game day.
And what should we expect for this team game one?
High energy, and a tough team. A high energy, a tough team, and a fast team.
All right. High energy, tough, fast, winning football. That's the key. Lynn English, Chris Carroll, Mukala, we're out of here.
Thanks, Mukala.
No doubt.
Thank you, man.
No
Thanks for
doubt.
coverage.
You all right, bro? What's up?
Yeah, that's stuff that happens during these interviews, behind the scenes. All right, we got some college football to run through. Tennessee got upset by Georgia State. Where is Georgia State? I don't know. Somewhere in the state of Georgia, but they sound like they should be like a mid-major, or they should be like one of those alternative schools or something. But they went up in Tennessee and they gave them the business. They 38-30. This is not a good look for Tennessee at all. You paid these guys around $900,000 because you thought it was going to be an easy W, and they took the check and took the W.
Yo, congrats to Georgia State. They was balling. Yeah, all positions was balling, especially the skill guys.
Yeah.
Tennessee, I felt like their biggest issue, they didn't really run the ball. Ty Chandler had 6 attempts for 48 yards and 1 touchdown, and he was averaging 8 yards per carry. Why wouldn't you give him the ball more?
And they lost this game in the fourth quarter because Jacksonville State scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Going into it, Tennessee, Tennessee had they had 20 points. It was 20-21 in the fourth quarter, and Tennessee just, I don't know, they might have. I don't know. This is what happens when you underestimate your opponent, especially some of these smaller schools, because a lot of those guys, they're more motivated because they probably didn't get the looks from the big schools that they wanted coming out of high school. And
yeah, they're always gonna circle these games, even if you're not ranked in the top 25. You're Tennessee, like you're known. You probably every player wants to go there. They're not top 25 yet, right? What they?
Tennessee?
Yeah, they were like what, top 35.
They ain't
40.
been ranked in a while. So.
All right, so yeah, they weren't even close. But with Tennessee though, it's like, first of all, you have your quarterback throwing 40 times.
Still.
And then once again, you don't eat any clock up because you barely run the ball.
Yeah.
This ain't the pros, bro. You got to be smart and you got to use the clock.
Yeah, they need to get that together. So kudos to Georgia State on that W. Also, some other news. Auburn and Arizona and University of Oregon, they played quite the game up there in Texas, and it came down to the last play or last possession for Auburn. They, Bo Nix made a big time play for a freshman.
Yeah, man. Auburn's known for having these crazy, end of the game theatrics wins. Congrats, man. I picked Auburn to win. I thought it was gonna be not as competitive as this game was.
Yeah.
But, Justin Herbert going 28 for 37, 242 yards and 1 touchdown. That's pretty impressive. And I really had no clue who he was, so I'm going to be looking out for him this season.
Yeah, and I think the clock management for Oregon really messed them up because they definitely were in control of this game, but they didn't finish. They didn't finish in the fourth quarter. They had plenty of chances to put them away, but they didn't do it, and it came back and bit them in the behind because they definitely were controlling the game. Herbert was having a good game. There were some plays that he missed, but he didn't make a lot of mistakes. But you carried the ball 30, you run the ball 33 times as a team for 90 yards, and CJ Verdell had 14 for 76 yards, 5 yards a carry. You think you'd want to keep that going, but hey. Kudos to Auburn. Always good to win a game. Always good to win a top 25 game against a top 15 opponent. So hey.
And also, too, Bo Nix, he threw the ball for over 30 times. Like, you need to just give Whitelow a couple more carries because he was being productive as well.
Yeah, there he was. So, kudos to Auburn. They got a cupcake opponent probably coming up. And Oregon scheduled, they're playing Tulane. So, they're a cupcake opponent. And Oregon, they need to... they got some easy games coming up. Nevada and then Montana until September 21st, they play Stanford. At Stanford. That's going to be a tough one, but hey, we'll see. They got to get back on the winning way. All right, this one, to no one's surprise, Clemson routed Georgia Tech, and it was pretty bad. Their running back, Etienne, he had the longest run in college football, Clemson football history. He had a 90-yard touchdown run. And, Georgia Tech had no answer. They had no answer. The bright side is they picked him off twice.
Yeah, a little rust. That's all that was, man.
Yeah. And Georgia Tech, they're switching from that, what's that? I forget the offense you call it. The triple option or wishbone, whatever you call it.
I was going to say wishbone, but I didn't know if that was outdated or not.
Yeah, they call it, one of those, triple option. So they this is an entirely new thing for them. The offensive line is a new blocking scheme for them. So, Georgia Tech, they got some ways to go. But, I mean, when you're playing the national champions, yeah.
That was expected.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So, all right. And now, Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts. He had quite the outing.
Yeah, man. I'm happy for him, man. He was balling.
Yeah, he was.
I feel like everything finally came together with him as a QB.
Also helps it goes to a QB-friendly team and a QB-friendly conference because he's going to be putting up a lot of these stats in the Big 12 because this is going to be, they play 7-on-7 style over there because there's no defense in there. But, yeah, this was definitely a good showing for him. Helps out his prospect of becoming an NFL quarterback, or just helps out his draft, his draft position, because when he wasn't that good of a passer at Alabama, and if he can improve his passing here, which he can in this offense, then he can.
That's the good thing. You know what I mean? In order to be a passer, you have to just pass the ball more.
Yeah.
So for him to play for this team in this conference is good for him, just so scouts can see that he can actually throw the ball.
Yeah.
Even though it might not be against SEC talent, it's still against high-profile talent. It's still Power 5.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so kudos to Jalen Hurts. And now we will go into our little predictions for this weekend. So I'm going to run through some of these games that I think may be important. First, we're going to start off with Syracuse and Maryland. Maryland defeated Howard 79-0. Syracuse I forget who they beat, but they won their first game too. So 2-1-0, two undefeated teams right now. I will take Maryland just because I know somebody that went to Maryland. Honestly, that's the only reason I'm taking them.
Yeah, I'm going to take Maryland, too. I'm a Hughes fan when it comes to basketball, but football, I'm not really that confident yet. So I'm going to take Maryland just because they're known for football more than Syracuse.
Yeah. All right, then this is going to be a big game. Texas A&M at Clemson. Last year, Texas A&M gave Clemson a run for their money down there in College Station. Clemson just made some more plays than them. Their quarterback for Texas A&M, I should say, is pretty good too. But Trevor Lawrence is a different animal, and going into Clemson, that's going to be tough. So I got Clemson in this one, but it might be another nail biter like last season.
I got Clemson too. It's going to be a shellacking. That's what I got.
The shellacking.
Shellacking.
All right, Texas and LSU. This is the primetime game, probably the game of the week this weekend. And, it's at Texas, two top 10 teams. They both look good during week one. Granted, their opponent wasn't that much, but, you got to beat down the whoever's in front of your schedule. And the quarterbacks, too. They got two quarterbacks that seeing some improvement. Sam Ellinger, people are saying he might be a sneaky Heisman candidate this season. Wow. So I'm going with LSU just because my cousin went there, and you got to stick with the family.
I'm gonna go with Texas just because I used to live out there, and they've been making a lot of strides in the right directions over the years. So, and they're kind of where they want to be now. So I'll go with them. Two
ACC battles. University of Miami against North Carolina Tar Heels. The Tar Heels had to come back to beat South Carolina last week, and then we had Mac Brown dancing in the locker room, which is the funniest thing ever. If you haven't seen that, you should go look at that, because if you want to see an old man dancing with no rhythm, you should go do that. I'm going with the Tar Heels just because I like their colors.
You said Tar Heels and who?
The U.
That's what I'm going with, baby.
This guy he'll never pick against Miami.
Nope, never.
And the last game to choose from, Stanford versus USC. I'm gonna pick USC. I'm actually picking Stanford because USC's quarterback just tore his ACL on Saturday, so he's done for the season.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ride with Stanford just for that reason. That reason right there? Yeah, I'm there.
All right. Now we got some NFL predictions for you guys. We're going to run through some of these games. All right. Tennessee at Cleveland. Who you got?
Browns.
I'm going with Tennessee for the upset. Just because I'm this Browns hype. I'm not feeling it. Baltimore at Miami.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore, Miami. Nobody knows what's going to happen with them. Atlanta at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I think Atlanta will get him. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I think he's going to make some mistakes. Buffalo at New York.
Which New York?
Jets.
Oh, Jets.
Yeah, I got the Jets. The team from Washington against the Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, that's my low-key Super Bowl pick, the Eagles. Rams at Carolina.
Rams.
I'm going with my man Cam Newton. Kansas City at Jacksonville. This might be different. It's in Jacksonville. The heat, humidity.
Chiefs.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, please.
Colts against the Chargers. You got the baby maker and you got the young buck.
I'm going with the Cowboy.
I said Chargers and Colts, man.
Yeah, you said Chargers, right? Cowboys. Philip. Said the baby
My bad.
Oh, rodeo man.
I gotta agree with you on that one. Seattle versus Cincinnati. This is in Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah, I got Seattle. I can't pick Cincinnati ever. Giants and Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't see. This is gonna be a long season for the Cowboys, but Saquon's gonna have a big game. So, Cardinals versus Lions.
Lions.
This is a pick'em game.
I'm gonna
go with the Cardinals just because they're home, new quarterback. They'll probably lose, but I'm gonna just pick them.
You can't even protect that man's life.
Yeah, you're right, but whatever. 49ers, the Buccaneers.
49ers, man. Jimmy G.
This is the only time I'm gonna pick the Bucks. So Tampa, y'all, no, actually no. San Fran, I don't trust. I can't trust them. San Fran,
bro.
Yeah. All right, Monday night we got Houston versus New Orleans at New Orleans.
Oh, Saints.
Saints. I'm going with Deshaun Watson, and then the nightcap Denver at Oakland.
Oh, Raiders.
The Raiders. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oakland as well because I don't know who's on Denver. They just got a good defense. FIBA USA, Team USA defeated Turkey in overtime, 93-92. Turkey went Nick Anderson and missed 4 straight free throws to ice the game. Team USA, Jason Tatum got fouled, made 2 out of 3 free throws to send the game to overtime. Ended up twisting his ankle. He's going to miss the next 2 games, but interesting game.
Yo, welcome to FIBA. I heard Ricky Rubio text Mitchell that. And honestly, that's what it is. It's a lot physical. It's not the NBA. You're not going to call all these touch fouls anymore. You're not going to be catered to because you're a professional athlete. They don't care what you are when you come in the FIBA field.
Yeah, and this is also what happens when you send kind of the lower tier B-level players.
Remember what I said weeks ago?
Yeah, yeah. And then some guys they don't want to go to FIBA, and then they're complaining about being double teamed in pickup games. So I mean. I don't know how those pickup games is going to help you better than going against FIBA. Because one thing about FIBA, what I've noticed, a lot of players that played in the FIBA, they went on to have MVP seasons. 2 I can think of, Derrick Rose and Steph Curry. Each of them, after they played in the FIBA World Cups, they had MVP seasons.
Just different type of basketball. Kind of reminds you the roots and where you came from. Because growing up, basketball is physical. Yeah. You know what I mean? The Pox, AAU, anywhere. Yeah. You get to the professional level, it's not as physical depending on what level you play on. If NBA, it's totally different than overseas.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know when their next game is. I did a bad job of looking that up, but it's looking like they're gonna have a lot of tough games. Also, Brazil beat Greece, but Anderson Varejao getting a double-double, and Leandro Barbosa is doing work. And people are telling me that Giannis is the best player in the world, and he can't even lead his team to beat Greece.
I mean, because he still doesn't have a jump shot. And Barbosa and Varejao are proven pros, man.
Yeah. And also Serbia, those guys, with what's his name?
My bad.
Serbia. What's the guy from Denver's name?
Nokic
and Bogdanovic, they're doing work. So it's gonna be tough.
And some of these guys grow up playing together. They've been playing together for years, so the camaraderie is different than Team USA or maybe Giannis just coming over playing with Greece for a little bit.
Yeah, it's also with this Team USA team, they were kind of put together last minute, so it's these guys are still trying to get used to each other. So, well, we'll see what happens. As long as you keep winning and moving on, that's all that matters. All right, we got some tennis updates. Serena Williams won her 100th match yesterday. It looked like she wanted to get out of there real quick the way she handled that lady. I don't even know. It was Wang something. It was an Asian female that she went up against and defeated her. And Serena Williams is just breezing through this thing. One of the highlights was Naomi Osaka versus Coco. They're kind of the two future of tennis. And, Coco wasn't having it. Well, I mean, Naomi wasn't having it. She gave it to Coco. And
it's kind of one of those just reminding the totem pole.
Yeah.
You up and coming, but I'm here now.
Yeah. But then Naomi ended up getting knocked out. There's another dude. I forget his name, but this dude is a troll. I forget his name. You got to see this dude. He's literally a troll. You need to watch him if you want to laugh because his post-game conference interviews, hilarious. I heard one yesterday. The crowd was booing him, and he said something that was hilarious. He said, I know, how are y'all going to sleep tonight knowing you helped me win? Because he kept booing. Yo, you gotta hear it. It's hilarious. But there was also a cool moment between Naomi and Coco where she went, and kind of consoled her and had her do her interview. People made a big deal out of it because people are making a big deal out of it because it shows sportsmanship and stuff like that. I'm like, in my head when I saw it, I was like, that's good sportsmanship. But I'm like, if we were actually decent human beings in society, this would not be such a big deal to see two young ladies, just embracing each other and uplifting each other after, one is clearly sobbing after the victory. And then if society was filled with decent human beings, this would not be like such a big thing that people are shocked by this or, surprised that something like this happens.
Yeah, those are the people that are crawling out their holes, typing away. It's the ugly people, man. Like, keep being a good citizen if you are one, and kudos to those ladies embracing each other, because that's what sportsmanship's about, like helping your fellow opponent after the match or the game.
Yeah, and they are the future of tennis. But I'll tell you what, that is better than me. Don't even come talk to me after you whoop my behind. I don't want you near me for a little while.
I'm walking right out of there.
Yeah, because you might get slapped. I'm sorry. It ain't nothing personal, but I don't want to deal with you. Right?
Oh, she like hugged her, like touched her?
It was like, they just embraced, and she was just kind of consoling her.
You
and stuff.
can't touch me after no loss. You can talk to me, don't touch me. That's an issue.
Yo, that's it. We are done. We are done. We went through everything. We got through everything. We will be back next week with some more. We'll actually be keeping track of our victories. Me and Todd's picks. So we'll be keeping track now.
I was winning a lot last year.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. But yeah, Pedro's back. We here. Mayo merchandise. I got this for free. Peace out. Yeah.